Gavin, brilliant night for Enfield Town, 3-1 win over Ebbsfleet United. What are your first reflections on that one?
I think we have to acknowledge that we've beaten a very good side. You know, we knew that coming into the game, and we weren't without tests tonight. You know, we weren't. But the boys have absolutely put a shift in, and that's not anything out of the ordinary. You know, for those that would have watched Saturday, they put a shift in. You know, we just fell the wrong side of the result on Saturday, and we talked about individual errors. But my overriding factor is that, you know, I expect them to be pretty much challenging at the top of the league. We've beaten a side tonight that I think are very good. We've beaten them comprehensively. We could have scored a lot more. So that gives you the measure of the performance tonight. I think that's, you know, that has to be acknowledged. They run their guts out. We create chances. You know, it's not out of the realms of possibility. And I don't mean this with any disrespect to Ebbsfleet, very good side that we maybe could have scored 6 tonight. You know, but 3 was good. Would have liked to have kept a clean sheet, but let's not get too greedy too quickly. You know, we're only a few days after Saturday when we were absolutely gutted at the manner of the defeat, and tonight we've got to put that right.
As you say, no individual errors today. We scored 3, could have scored more. What was the key to the win today?
I don't think that we have actually done a lot different. I think the key today is both boxes. We've been very, very good at defending our box today, and we've been, you know, very potent in respect of at the other end, and as you say, probably a little bit wasteful in some respects, if I'm going to be honest. You know, there was one that I think hit the post about 5 times, didn't it, in the space of about 20 seconds. So, but you know, look, you know, as I said, acknowledge they're a very good side. Really think they'll be challenging, and the fact of the matter is that you know, played very well tonight, and you know, we'll look to keep that momentum. We'll look to draw on the positives from it and enhance those. Still work to do, and look at where we can improve from the bits that we didn't do so well.
Taking the lead hasn't generally been the problem for us, but how important was that second goal cushion today?
Yeah, I think that was important. I think that the one after half time is probably the most important one, because, you know, as we've seen, we've been up in a lot of games at half time, certainly been drawing at the very least, and we've not managed to maintain that. So I think I've just said to them in there that you know, we've put in a 95 minutes today rather than a 60 minutes or something like that. So we've seen shades of those performances, 100% we have. But lost my voice here. But we probably haven't seen it for the 90 plus minutes that we saw today. So that's a really good step in the right direction, and the boys can be very, very pleased with their night's work and proud of what they've done.
As you said, that goal after half time, making it 3-0 was critical. What was the message at half time? Because it would have been tempting for the players, I imagine, to have sat back on a 2-goal lead. No,
that totally wasn't the message. The message was to go again. We knew how crucial a third goal would be, or, you know, if they got one, then you're in a game of football. So the idea was to go at it again. We acknowledged that maybe they would change something, and they made a change at half time, although it was very much a like for like change. And we would have to be mindful and adjust to that, because if we're guilty as a group, and that includes obviously the management and myself particularly, you know, we've not adjusted quick enough to certain situations when they've happened. So we've put that ownership on the players, some of it, and we've taken ownership on the bench that we acknowledge we need to do better, and I think tonight we did that.
We came flying out of the blocks this evening. How difficult or how easy was it to pick up the players after Saturday's disappointments?
Listen, my mindset, I think, was very crucial for them. I didn't wake up on Sunday disappointed, down, gutted. I was gutted at the man of the feet, of course, on Saturday, but you know, I actually thought there were, you know, we're going toe to toe with 2 full-time sides, right, over the last 2 games. 2 massive clubs, 2 clubs that would expect to probably play at the higher level than what they are now, and be looking to get back there. You know, we're a part-time club, boys go to work, etc., all those sort of cliches. And the fact of the matter was, I woke up on Sunday very positive about a lot of what we did on Saturday. Very positive about a lot of what we've done before, and we just had to enhance and get better at certain things. And I didn't have any doubt that results were possible. I'm not saying that's it, we're done, we've clinched it, and we're off and running. There's hard work to do, and we meet a really, really difficult opponent on Saturday again. But I'm not down. They shouldn't have been down after Saturday, and I felt there was enough that I saw on Saturday against one of the so-called bigwigs in the league to be positive about coming into tonight.
And finally, fans were singing your name. A great reward for them tonight after a couple of really difficult weeks.
Listen, I've said it so many times, but I don't get tired of saying it. We've had some difficult times last season. We've had some difficult times this season already. We're little old Enfield, and we're playing against these clubs that are expected to come and roll us over. Let's be honest about it. But when those difficult times have come, they've never not supported me, and they've never not supported the team, which is more important. And I'm very, very grateful, because I acknowledge that football's a horrible game sometime, and it can really be a horrible place to be, and Enfield certainly isn't that. And I'm very, very grateful for the support. I'm very grateful that they keep particularly support the players. It's nice to hear your name sung, but the players are the most important bit. The players are the ones that feed off them, and I think it's a two-way thing. If the players feed them, they feed back to the players, and we need them. We need them because we've got some big games to come.
Fantastic. Well done for tonight, Gavin. See you Saturday.
Cheers. Thank you.